Floyd Whiting.
Morning and welcome to Public Pulse. Now, First Federal Bank and Trust, located here in Sheridan, is going to donate $1,000 a week for 52 weeks to a 501c3 or a qualified nonprofit right here in Sheridan County. That's $1,000 a week for 52 weeks, folks. And this morning I am joined by First Federal Bank and Trust President and CEO Kevin Bailey and EVP Chief Commercial Lending Officer DJ Dearcorn. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Floyd.
Morning.
Now, the weekly donations that will be made are great and inspiring, especially, no offense, but coming from a bank. But we'll talk about those in a little bit. But first, tell me a little bit about First Federal Bank and Trust so that we can get to know who you are as an organization.
Yeah, thanks, Floyd. Thanks for having us this morning, too. We're in our 88th year of operation. We started here in Sheridan, Wyoming. We are a mutual bank, and we are a community bank fully committed to supporting our community. And we offer a full range of banking services, commercial lending, mortgage lending, consumer lending, trust and investment services, and, of course, our retail or deposit services, too.
Now, when it comes to when the institution was founded, 1935, I had a question. You and I discussed this a little bit. This was in the middle of the Great Depression. It kind of surprised me that a bank was founded during this time period. Is there a story surrounding the founding of the bank?
Well, I'm not sure how much it connects to the Great Depression, but the bank was founded to take deposits and make home loans for the people of Sheridan, Wyoming. And it was started by a group of local businessmen, and we have been going since.
Oh, so this isn't one individual. A group of individuals came together
Correct.
and made this decision. We're going to start a bank. Now, when it comes to the principles that guide the bank, what are those, and how do we get from being a banker to making great donations to the community?
Well, it might be surprising to some folks, but our mission statement is actually to help support and improve the lives of our staff, customers, and communities. That's our mission statement. That's where we start from. That's where we go to work every day, and we're trying to fulfill that mission.
Now, how are the values reflected in your policies and your practices at the bank? How are you different from everybody else?
We have a list of organizational values, and I've already mentioned our mission statement. And maybe the best way that I can express it, and DJ sure can jump in here too, but before I came to work for First Federal, which was about 17 years ago, I worked for a very large banking institution. And they had some of the similar organizational values and said some of the similar things, but they were stock-owned banks. And really, at the end of the day, we were asked to make as much money as we can to increase the shareholder.
And that's kind of the image that people think of a bank, right?
Yeah. Right.
It's the first thing to come to mind.
Right. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, we live in America.
It is a business.
It's a business, but we happen to be a mutual bank, and we don't have shareholders. So we really focus on taking care of people, and we try to live that every day.
So when it comes to a mutual bank, I'm not going to answer to shareholders. I don't answer to an owner. Who are we working for here?
Well, we have a board of directors, and they're all local folks, local business folks, who I answer to personally, but our entire bank does. And they're a great group of folks who embrace our mission and our organizational values. They're part of the community. And so we answer to them, but we are a nationally chartered bank, actually. First Federal, we're here in Sheridan, Wyoming, but we can do business anywhere in the country. And we're regulated, just like the other banks are, by the national or the federal banking regulatory bodies. And so our oversight is from our board of directors, primarily. And a mutual bank is technically owned by your depositors, but they're not shareholders. It's really a community-focused organization, community-focused bank. By the way, there are only 2 in Wyoming, and then there's 1 in Montana, so there's not many of them around.
Wow. Yeah. See, this is all kind of I wouldn't say alien concept, but something new to me. Because when I think of bankers, I kind of go back to the traditional, well, they're here to make and protect money. That's founding principles of banking.
And I don't think that's unique to anybody else either. I mean, our bank is very much that same way. We're here to be stewards of our institution, and our depositors' money. But at the same time, our returns and earnings, we can then focus more so on community reinvestment. And so that's what separates us more so is we have that ability to turn around, take those earnings and where we can't make a capital call, from that family or from those stockholders, we have to retain all those earnings and we can, wisely invest those in our community into the 501c3s and nonprofit organizations that we see fit. And, we like to do so, and we've done so for a long time with those that align with our values and so forth. This is a unique program that we're starting where, we're opening it up to any 501c3 and we've always been open to sharing within the community. And this is a little more public opening to say, hey, this is something you can be a part of as well. The bank is healthy and doing well, and it's a result of a healthy community. And we feel really, honored and fortunate to be able to turn around and share this type of health within the community and reinvest and just rise the tide for all the ships that are here.
It's one of those situations where the better the community does, the better the bank does. We'd much rather have snow globes and windows as opposed to boards and cardboard.
Right.
Everyone's going to profit off of each other. Now, real quick, DJ, what does EVP stand for?
It's some glorified title. I'm not really positive. I think it's got a meaning.
I love your candor. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not a big title guy, but it's. I'm fortunate to be in the position that I have. So
DJ is very humble, but he's one of our 2 executive vice presidents. That's what the EVP is.
Oh,
executive
wow.
Vice presidents at the bank, and him and James Wilkerson were appointed that a few months ago, and they're doing a great job of leadership within First Federal.
Now, as a leader in the banking industry, how do you see the values of the organization itself, or how do you use those in your daily practices during your business?
Sure. I mean, you think about the things that we've touched on so far in serving our staff and community and so forth, and honesty and integrity and, transparency, those things that help any relationship, grow and work. Banking is relationship development. That's really all it is. And the better we understand our customers and the better they understand us, the more, progress we can make together, and so we lean into those organizational values of trust and honesty and integrity. And, we've had to have a fair bit of resilience the last few years, given the COVID pandemic and what that's done to the business communities and so forth. And, it's just, it's working with people and all those skill sets that it takes to work closely with people and understand their hardships and, their dreams, and so forth, and be able to make them a reality and help come alongside them to promote those objectives and missions is what it takes and what it is.
How did the COVID pandemic affect the banking industry? Did you see kind of the financial losses across the board that a lot of people did as an industry, or was the banking industry able to sustain themselves through this pretty well?
I think the banking industry as a whole sustained pretty well, but one of the key parts of that, Floyd, was what we called the PPP lending program. And, but I'll have DJ talk about that because he oversaw that program here in a second. But locally here in Sheridan and this area in general, we tend to be very resilient people. And folks did fairly well. I mean, it was a challenging time to navigate, but I think we held together very well as a community and supported each other. And at First Federal, we continued providing our services and chugging along. But I think a really key part of that was this PPP program, which DJ, why don't you jump in since you ran that program at the bank?
Yeah. Was that successful in our area?
Yeah, it was very successful, and many of the banks came together. I know, there were several of us that we worked closely with in the local banking community that put our heads together at different periods of time, waiting for news and rules and things to come out on the program. And what we basically did was just kind of dig in, stayed in our offices, tried to keep isolated because, of course, that was a big, part of the whole pandemic thing.
Right.
Do our work and create a bit of a streamlined process to be able to get these funds out the door on behalf of the federal government, to the various companies that were in need and that could support, the elements of the program and so forth. And those rules continued to change. Like I said, we kept our heads close with some of the other bankers in the community and just did the best we could to get that program as fruitful and so forth into the hands of the business owners here. And it worked well to differentiate ourselves. Those other small banks along with us, we were able to set ourselves aside from the big banks that said we're only going to do so much and then we're going to close it off. We saw a number of clients come in from other banks that weren't customers of ours on a day-to-day basis, saying we need this help. We don't know what our future looks like. And there was all that uncertainty. And we didn't know what that future looked like either, but we had a program and we had a tool. So we just put it to use and it benefited us greatly because we were able to bridge some gaps that some of those bigger banks couldn't do or refused to do, I guess.
Yeah.
They may have been able to do something, but some of them chose not to do all that much. Shouldn't say all that much. It was several million and billions of dollars ultimately that they did. But when you're that one individual that may or may not get that loan, it's pretty important to you whether or not you're on this list or that list. So we worked our tails off for 2-3 weeks there at the early onset to make that program go. And then there were several rounds that came back around that we were able to kind of wind up our process and make it go again when the times came for it. And but in all, it was a good program for us. It stressed us, but it was a stressful time, and that resilience to Kevin's comment came through in shining light for us to be able to proceed. So,
and when you were doing all of this, what was the biggest challenge that you faced in the decision-making process of this entire pandemic and that program?
Just probably a lot of uncertainty. The rules weren't real clear right off the bat. And so we were kind of just shooting from the hip and kind of saying, let's just kind of follow the spirit of what we believe this is intended to be to the best of our ability, and work within those rules and frameworks as best as we could. I don't remember a lot of denials through that loan program process. There may have been a few, and we had to be very careful about who was coming to us out of area. We did get some out of area things that we didn't know these borrowers, and that's a big part of banking is knowing your customer. And so we kind of thought, this is an opportunity for fraud. Anytime you've got access to money that's very loosely,
where the rules are changing all the time.
Yeah. So we were trying to be, stewards of that program in an appropriate way. And I think I haven't read all the news about the amounts of fraud that took place through that program, but it was a significant number. And we did our best to not be involved in any of those types of deals, but just make that program go with very little information was the hard part.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a couple business owners through the pandemic and that time period, and the majority of them had that same comment. Mm-hmm. Boy, I wish they'd come up with some solid rules. Everything is changing. It seemed like almost on a daily basis at one point, kind of during the height of the whole thing. And that has got to be frustrating, especially from someone whose job is to lend this or give this money out,
right? Prevent
fraud. Mm-hmm. And you've got so many different questions coming your way. Where do you go to get the answer?
Yeah, it was a tough time, and we all stayed close to our systems and the outlets that we rely on for that information, and just did the best we could.
And I do like what you said about the relationships. Building those relationships is key to knowing who you're lending to, and so I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on this, but what was, say, your best practice or your best policy for trying to vet some of these individuals that were coming to you from out of the area?
We have some tools and resources at our disposal to try and do so. But back to our kind of origination, we served Sheridan and Johnson County here for, the inception of our bank. So that was our primary market that we were looking to help focus on. And really, if you had a meaningful purpose in our area, we could easily identify that. We know the surrounding community well. So it was a matter of, does anybody know who it is that we're working with here? Do you have a meaningful presence here in our community? Because our job, first and foremost, as a community institution, is to take care of our community. And this program, is a direct reflection of that. The way we did the PPP program, the way we do, our decision making is through that mission statement. And at the end of the day, that community is what we needed to serve. And so we just kind of backed up and said, that's not a person in our local community. Try to find an institution that's local to you. There were some connections that were made, a parent of a business person that had another business in another location. If it worked for us and we had the time, we would try to work those through the program, because we are a federally chartered bank. We could do that, but that wasn't something we were just going to do, for anybody. It was, well, we know this person and that's a family member. So that
right.
Indirect connection may be able to be made. But these people we had no connection with, not local to our market in any way, no connection. We just said, we're sorry, we're not able to help you. Try your local, community institutions there. In most cases, they were from larger metro areas, from what I remember. So it was kind of like you've got to have some banks in your backyard,
right? Yeah.
I don't know how you found us, but we may not be your bank this time. So.
Through the entire thing, I never once considered the stress and the pressure that was on bankers. I mean, the money's got to go through your institution, and that had to be a very stressful time in your life. Since that has somewhat concluded, and I don't want to go too far and say that it has. But
we hope the programs are over. Those were a nightmare.
Because that's kind of my question. Does it seem like the waters have calmed quite a bit in your industry as you approach the future?
It certainly changed the way a lot of companies do business. The technological advancements that took place, the movement towards robotics and some of those things, certainly what it did from a staffing standpoint. And so to say if industries have really settled back or, normalized, I think in many ways, but it's not maybe how they intended for it to take place, where we see the now hiring signs all over, and that's a result of what we've heard of a lot of people retiring early, a lot of people not returning to the workforce and so forth. And that, I don't think that was, I know that we had a workforce shortage prior. We know we had a home, a housing shortage prior and those things. And so it just advanced some of these things so rapidly that some companies took advantage of it very well. Some companies were unable to take advantage of it. And I think, by and large, most of the companies here in town pivoted, moved their business in a way that they could to stay viable. And I think for the most part, everyone's settled back to a current normal, whatever that
has
be.
become. Yeah.
And I think, we're fortunate. Sheridan is still a very healthy community. We're a politically open and accepting community, and people keep moving here and buying our homes and moving in and helping us grow, and that's wonderful. We need a growth mindset here to be able to continue to stay viable and grow.
Absolutely. I've walked a lot of downtown areas in the state of Wyoming. Not all of them are as prosperous and generous as ours is. There's been a lot of places who got hit pretty tough.
Mm-hmm. Floyd, we were mentioning kind of the stressful part of the PPP program, and we did feel stress, but part of the rewarding factor there was that we really felt we were helping a lot of local businesses survive, particularly in the hospitality industry. And I think we felt a pressure to help, and I do mean this in a good way, actually. We wanted to make sure that businesses were going to get a chance at this and that they were going to get funding. A lot of the businesses' doors just closed, and they needed help. And it was part of the stress, but it was also part of the big reward.
Yeah.
To help our communities out in that way.
Some stress is worth every drop of sweat.
Exactly.
And this is one of those instances. I'll stay late. I'll get this application and I'll do this a little bit longer because it is affecting my community.
Yeah, DJ and his team during that time period, they were working weekends and late nights, and they were working hard to get it done.
And getting the job done.
Yeah.
All right, on that, when we come back, we'll continue with the CEO and Chief Commercial Lending Officer of First Federal Bank and Trust. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM, Sheridan.
Is Wyoming Corporate Office your one-stop shop for everything you need for your Wyoming-based business, LLC, or corporation formulation? Yes. Service of process and mail forwarding services? Indeed. Fulfill the legal requirements for small businesses based in Wyoming? Absolutely. Wyoming Corporate Office provides the communication between your business and the state, so you don't have to. Learn more by visiting wyomingcorporateoffice.com today.
You know, the pioneers crossed the vast wilderness in covered wagons, yet today a lot of their offspring actually have to set alarms to remind them when to drink water. If you're needing water, all you have to do is call 307 Wildcat Well Service, a local company that specializes in locating water, drilling in pumps, even solar-powered water wells. So for water wells and all that goes with them, look for 307 Wildcat Well Service in the Country Bounty, and you too will have cool, clean water. Water.
Trim the tree, get more decorations, and do your holiday shopping at Ace Hardware and Connect Home Center. Make a cheerful statement with holiday decor, create a comfortable environment with indoor heating solutions and new lighting, redecorate outside with outdoor furniture and fire pits. Give the gift of more tools from brands like DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Craftsman, and enjoy Ace Rewards special offers and sales on many items. There's a lot to see and shop at Ace Hardware and Connect Home Center in Sheridan.
Got a chip or need a windshield repaired? Hi, I'm Cindy Wolf. We invite you to stop down at Novus Auto Glass on North Main Street in Sheridan. Jim and I were both born and raised in Sheridan and are proud to continue to run Novus Auto Glass as a locally owned business. Novus Auto Glass has certified technicians to put your windshield concerns at ease. We strive for professional quality work. Novus provides a lifetime and national warranties on all installations. Come down to 347 North Main Street or give us a call at Novus Auto Glass 307-672-0139 for an appointment.
Remember when your mom would say, "Stop crying, or I'll give you a reason to cry about"? Well, if you didn't stop till she gave you a reason, then you need the calming that only comes from the health-giving things you get at the Health Nut. An organic and healthy soup, salad, smoothie, and sandwich bar. Aisle after aisle of vitamins and supplements, plus a healthful grocery store. So stop crying, no matter what the reason, and get healthy and happy at the Health Nut, located in the 5th Street Mall in Sheridan.
The Sheridan County Chamber of Commerce and Sheridan Media invite you to vote in this year's Christmas Stroll People's Choice Lighting and Decorating Contest. Visit SheridanMedia.com to see the list of businesses participating in the contest. Visit each business and check out both their indoor and outdoor decorations. Then vote for your favorite at SheridanMedia.com. You can vote once per day through 11 p.m. on December 11th. For questions, contact the Chamber at 672-2485.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse. I'm Floyd Whiting, and with me this morning is the First Federal Bank and Trust President and CEO, Kevin Bailey, and the EVP Chief Commercial Lending Officer, DJ Dearcorn. Now, First Federal has made a commitment to $1,000 a week for 52 weeks to be donated to a 501c3 or qualified nonprofit right here in Sheridan County. Gentlemen, what is the guiding principle behind this series of donations, and how did we come to this decision to, you know what, we're going to put $1,000 a week into somebody's pocket who's doing great for the community?
You know, Floyd, it goes again back to our mission statement of really helping people in our communities, and we really wanted to come up with an idea that would demonstrate that and of course just literally help out our communities. And we're really proud of that. Our entire First Federal team is behind this, and we try to live that every day. As far as the idea generation, I'm going to turn it back to DJ because him and his crew are pretty integral in this part. So I'll let DJ talk about the idea formation on it.
Sure. Yeah. We all serve various nonprofits. As part of it being in a community institution, you look for ways to give back among your community. And so many of us sit on boards or committees and so forth within nonprofits around the community and across the state or even the country in some cases. And we all know that those 501c3s are about their why. What's our why? What's our mission and so forth. And at the bank, it's really our why is to be able to support our community. And this is a great way to elevate that why. It's when we've, held those roles on nonprofit boards, we talk about how do we go out and capture money so that we can help, move and advance our mission and our vision. That's our whole goal. Well, our bank is not, unique to that same type of thing. How do we capture some more deposits and some more investors and put that money to work so that our bank can continue to be healthy? And then in turn, we get to turn that health right back around and invest in our community. And we do so by paying our depositors a nice, healthy rate. And we also wanted to do, a little bit more public, show of good faith here that, we're behind these nonprofits as well. And we realize that those can reach some different missions and some different visions that help raise the tide for everyone in the community, and the various missions they serve. So it's exciting for us to be able to just share the health of our institution, the health of our community, and be a part of that reinvestment vehicle back into the boards and so forth that are working hard for our people.
When it comes to sitting on a board, Dr. Ryan Landis teaches an arts administrative class, and within it, he talks about how to build a good board for a nonprofit. And it struck me. He said, you need to find a banker, and you need to get a banker on that board because they understand money, and money is so crucial to so many different nonprofits. If I were to become an executive at the bank, is it part of the practice where you're expected to go out and be on one of these boards? Now, I know a lot of you probably go do it by your own free will, but do you kind of push them and say, maybe sitting on a board would be good for you?
Yes, yes, Floyd. And I probably wouldn't use the word push. It's more to hopefully encourage, motivate, and lead from the front, and hopefully demonstrate to the staff that this is an important part of our bank. This is an important part of our community. I mean, we try to take great care of our community. Our community takes great care of us. And we've actually implemented some programs at the bank. For example, all employees can earn an extra 3 days of vacation by volunteering.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So they can earn 3 more days of vacation, and that's very encouraging to the whole entire staff. And we have people from all levels of the bank that are involved in community organizations, and we are very heavily involved around town. And so, yeah, we encourage and try to provide a structure for people. They can take the time off from work to go be on their board that week.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to create that culture within our bank.
And create a true community bank. Because once you start sitting on one of these boards, you start seeing the reason the board is there in the first place. You start seeing the needs or the service that board, that nonprofit provides.
Yep.
How do we vet our nonprofits and 501c3s for this donation process?
I think we're trying to keep it real simple. And basically, if you're organized here in the county, you're going to be eligible. So we'll do some research with the state of Wyoming and just make sure that you're legally organized and that you're a tax exempt organization. You'll get put into the lottery system, and we'll take it forward. But we're trying to keep it very simple. It's not going to be that you get thrown out if you don't agree with our ideologies in one way or another. There's nothing, you don't have to have a deposit account with us or anything that way. We're just looking to, serve a vast majority of our community by taking in everyone that's got a nice, meaningful presence right here in the county.
Now, are you hoping that individuals come to you, or have you reached out to all these nonprofits and basically said, you want your name on the list?
Yeah, we've actually we're going to throw in everyone that we've given money to here in the community for the last 3 years. They don't have to sign up. We've already got them auto-filled, and they'll be a part of our initial draw pool. But we will reach out. There's certainly some other nonprofits we haven't had an opportunity to work with, and that's just a matter of, kind of word of mouth and some of those things to say, hey, I know of these folks that they don't have a relationship with us. Let's get them an opportunity to be a recipient of this as well, and provide maybe an opportunity to start that relationship with them. So it's going to be an active effort, as well as just utilizing the resources we've already collected to date too.
All right. So you're expanding. I want to touch on this before I let you go. Tell me about the expansion. I've only got maybe 2 minutes left.
Sure. Well, first of all, we've been expanding here in Sheridan for the last couple of years pretty significantly. We've our banking business has expanded a lot the last 3-4 years. We've been very blessed with the community working with us, so we've expanded locally in number of personnel that we have, and adding staff and adding services. But I believe that what you're mostly touching on, Floyd, is that we are putting up a new bank building in Billings, Montana.
The big one.
It's going to be a nice sized bank building. We've had we started up there with a mortgage loan office about 6 years ago, and it's expanded into a full service office up there. It's on Shiloh Road. And it's gone really well. So we're ready now to take the next step and build that building up there. We have 10 staff out of approximately 80 in Billings, and we will be opening our new building hopefully this coming fall, and we will be going into expansion phase as far as hiring more people up there and helping that community out too.
Well, that's fantastic. Best of luck in your expansion.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Dearcorn, greatly appreciate both of you coming in and speaking with me this morning. And, sir, I greatly appreciate your candor when it came to dealing with that program.
Yeah, no problem.
Tough job. Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Lloyd.
All right, when we return, we're going to be joined by the Caleb Shriners. This is Public Pulse on 930 KROE at 103.9 FM. Sheridan.
When the unexpected happens, you may wonder what's next. Champion Funeral Home can help you through this phase of life. They provide support and personal services while helping you create a meaningful tribute to your loved one. Champion Funeral Home has been locally owned and operated since 1911, providing compassion and care to Sheridan and Johnson County. Visit Champion Funeral Home at championfh.com or call 674-6329. Mandy Koltiska from Century 21 BHJ Realty brings you this pet of the week from the dog and cat shelter. Meet Celine. Don't let her gray hairs fool you. She's still a big ball of energy. A bit of a Houdini, though. She must have a secure yard. Our boy Flash is more likely lounging on the couch than moving at any great speed. This kitty is quiet and sweet, perfect for a slow-paced home.
Face it, you don't want to do your own plumbing and heating work or repair. You need a professional, and that is exactly what you will get if you work with Rapp Plumbing and Heating. Being fully licensed, bonded, and insured, you can rest assured that they will take care of your repairs and maintenance in the very best way possible. Call Rapp Plumbing and Heating at 429-1196 and rest easy knowing it'll be done right. This is Dan Rapp with Rapp Plumbing and Heating. And as we like to say, if you find a leak, let me take a peek.
Want to save money this holiday season? At Legacy Diamond & Gems, they have a wide selection of beautiful jewelry all on sale up to 50% off. Their total store renovation in 2023 motivates them to sell at discounts like never before. Again, save up to 50% off in-stock items only for a limited time. Hurry into Legacy Diamond & Gems while the selection is at its best and where quality and value are always in style. Legacy Diamond & Gems, 11 North Main Street in downtown Sheridan.
Is your home falling down, dilapidated, dingy, or downright disgusting? Are you wanting to sell but know that no realtor in their right mind would even come and take a look at your home? They would drive by and say goodbye, love. YO Renovation is here now. Get a hold of Devon and he'll come out, take a look, and make you an offer. Quickly, confidentially, and with no judgment. YORenovation.com. We buy crappy and make homes happy.
Have you been to SheridanCommercial.com? Hi, Kurt Smith here for the Sheridan Commercial Company. I invite you to explore and compare prices of our wide selection of quality office supply products by going online to SheridanCommercial.com. That's SheridanCommercial.com. Plus, we carry a line of office supplies in our store for your everyday needs. The Sheridan Commercial Company Office Supply Department at 303 Broadway, or explore over 42,000 items online at SheridanCommercial.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Public Pulse. I'm Floyd Whiting. For the second part of our show this morning, I am joined by the Caleb Shriners, Bill Rathburn and Joe Swartz. Good morning, Shriners, and welcome back to the show.
Good morning.
Today, you guys have got those beautiful I'm going to remember the name. I'm not. What kind of hat is that?
Called a fez.
Fez, the Fez. I'm a Doctor Who fan. I should have known that right off.
Yeah, the Fez is the distinguishing badge of a noble of the shrine.
It really is, and they're. I will say that they're a little bit bigger than I thought they would be, but they are beautifully adorned. The symbol at the top there, Bill, different than Joe's. So I've noticed. Is that an office or just the design?
That's just the design.
Just the design. You can switch it up.
Right.
Well, they're absolutely amazing.
Well, and Bill's is a little bit more churched up, if you will. He's a past potentate from 2020, so that's the grand poobah of it all. So you get to wear a little bit fancier fez after you go through the paces.
I will say, even as a child, I can remember seeing the guys in those hats. And I remember thinking, that it was a great organization. Those are the good guys. And, of course, the cars. And jumping out there every parade. You've got bands, you've got cars. It was a good time. So
we don't just have cars. You might find him in a wheelchair in a parade sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Motorized wheelchair.
The motorized wheelchairs.
The lazy boy.
Just kicking back. Yeah. That's the way to do a parade, Joe.
I've done it once, and then the batteries died.
And then it wasn't as fun, right? Because you still got to get that out of there. All right. Now, how did the Tunnel of Terror go this year? Did everything go pretty well?
Yes, it went very well.
You guys had a good turnout?
Very good turnout this year.
That's fantastic. That's good to hear, especially after COVID, everything kind of slowing way down. It's good to know that people were still looking forward to this. They were still waiting for that tunnel to open up. Joe, how'd you do? What did you do this year in the tunnel?
I was in Costa Rica.
Oh, you took a vacation. All right. I thought maybe you'd have like a hockey mask on.
No,
or something
I was pretty active. I was there for all the setup, and then the first opening night, Thursday, I was there, and I kind of roamed and just kind of watched things. I didn't want to take too big of an active role in it this year, just because this was the guys' first year without me there, and I kind of spearhead a lot of it. But I mean, the guys did great. They had I think this was as far as a turnout, this was the highest year we've had yet in doing this for 5 years now.
Oh, wow. That's great to hear.
So we got a few things we're going to change next year. We had a few unruly kids going through, I guess, from what I was told. So we got some ideas on just kind of need to lay down a few more ground rules for some of the patrons there. So
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think everybody had a good time. Bill would be the one to talk to. I was probably drinking rum on a beach.
You stay for opening night, make sure everything's going well, and then hit the beach. Yeah. There you go. All right. So now the Caleb Shrine has a Christmas party coming up, correct?
That's correct.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I'm going to let Joe talk about that because he's been kind of given the mantle of leadership in that area. So.
Yeah. I won't be in Costa Rica for this one.
So. Gonna stick around for this one.
I gotta hang out for this one. So this is our annual kids Christmas party. We talked about it a little bit last time we were on here. It's kind of our give back to the community. It's a completely free event, open to the public. We invite everybody to bring in their kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, whatever, and they get a chance to come in, see Santa and Mrs. Claus. We do have stockings with toys that we'll give out this year. This year, we weren't sure about doing the stockings just because of the price increase. But fortunately enough, we had an anonymous donor donate the stockings this year, which, I mean, is huge for us. It was a member of our temple, but they donated that so we could keep things kind of business as usual. So you get to come in, see Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. While you wait, there'll be guys tying balloons, probably me. But
You're a man of multiple talents.
You got to be, man. When you're a clown, you can't just stop at one. I'm still working on a unicycle, but kind of old. But no, and then Caliph Clowns will be there, and all the uniformed units. So when we say uniformed units, we're talking about primarily the Sheridan area guys, which is the Horse Patrol, the Oriental Band, the Director's Staff, and the Caliph Clowns. The four of those together make the uniformed units, and that's who puts on this function. It's not, in historically in years past, the Caliph Clowns first started this, but they were, it was a half a dozen guys, and we were serving 50 to 100 kids at that time. Over the time span that we've been doing this thing grew out of the capability of the Caliph Clowns at the time, and that's when the uniform units stepped in and gave us more manpower, a little bit more funding to be able to hold this event. We don't charge anybody for anything. I mean, you get the toy, the stocking, get to see Santa, the balloon tying. We also provide hot dogs and chips. Coca-Cola will donate the sodas for drinks and everything every year. We invite everybody to come down, have a good time, stick around, and just enjoy it. I mean, it's a great way to get people into our building, too. A lot of people don't know, they see that building and see the Shriners Temple, and they think our doors are closed, and really they're not, man. Our doors are way open to the public, and we love to have people come in and enjoy it. So.
And I love to hear you say that because, even like growing up, seeing the shrine, that was, shrine is a big word. That's the shrine. It's the temple. You don't go in there and misbehave or anything. It's some place that needs to be respected. And I think the majority of individuals haven't walked through the door just for that reason. They just wanted to respect the Shriners and what they do up there.
Yeah, and I mean, and part of that could be on us too, is we kind of kept our doors closed for a long time, and it was part of the secrecy or the mystique of it all.
Right.
So, I mean, we've talked before, Shriners wouldn't exist without first being Freemasons or Masons, and Masons are a bit more of a secret society, if you will, and they're not as open to the public. Where the Shrine, this is our public face. We like to be in the public. We like people to know that we exist, and know what our cause is too. So.
And so having individuals walk up to you, say like at a parade or an event, and talk to you about this organization is encouraged.
Yeah. Definitely encouraged. I mean, and I've said it before, to be one, ask one. And that's the first step, is taking that step and just ask questions. And I mean, in my opinion, in the years I've done this, the more we're in the community and the more that we're in the public's face, if you will, they see us. Yeah. Whether it's good, a negative or a positive, I mean, we're at least being noticed. We're at least being seen. Love us or hate us, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, no one's going to learn anything or ask questions unless they know we exist.
Mm-hmm. And they see you around the community.
Yeah.
And I think, Bill, you can probably testify to this. Once somebody knows you're a Shriner within the community, I mean, we don't live in a big metropolitan area. Do a lot of like friends and relatives ask you about the organization and conversationally?
Oh, yeah, we do. Especially relatives, they ask a lot of questions. What's really interesting about being a Shriner, though, is when we're out in public and having people come up to you who have had a relative or a friend or somebody that they knew that were in our hospitals.
Yeah.
Have them talk to you about that. And it kind of brings a tear to your eye just listening to their stories.
And, Joe, you talked a little bit about how that, as a member, is really life-changing to walk into those hospitals and speak with those brave kids who were facing circumstances that many of us can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, man, it makes it all worth it. I mean, hours and hours of volunteer work, and I mean, fundraising, and sometimes you wonder why we do it. I don't know how many thousands of dollars me and Bill individually have spent on raffle tickets, fundraisers and stuff, and never gotten anything back out of it. But then you don't even necessarily know you go to the hospital. You meet just one Shriner's child or one Shriner's kid that's benefited from our programs and whatnot. And I mean, it really makes it a lot.
Every drop of sweat was worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, sometimes I wonder why I do this, but that's a pretty good reminder why.
Absolutely. Bill, if you were to, if a young man or a young woman were to sit in front of you and say, why should I consider your organization above others, what would you tell them?
why they to be a member. You talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
to be a member. I just think it's a great organization. You have to become a Mason first, and becoming a Mason, our whole idea is to take a good man and make him better.
Yeah.
It is a men's organization, so I just think that it's just a great thing to do.
The fellowship together.
The fellowship together with other people with kind of like-minded.
Yeah. I think, individuals out there who maybe had a fraternity or served in the U.S. military, I think understand that idea of something bigger. You remove a little bit of the individual and you become a bigger organism that can accomplish so much more. And in doing so, it makes you a better person because we all kind of hold each other accountable for our actions. And I think that's a good thing in many, many cases.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. I don't know, and I'll speak more as far as the Caliph Clowns. I mean, I've put these guys through some stuff in my time with the Clowns. I mean, when I first joined, we were kind of on our last leg. We were cashed in our last stock, and we were kind of running out of money, and it was a huge turnaround to get these guys, get them active. And I mean, at that point in time, I was the youngest clown by far. I mean, by like 35 years.
Oh, wow.
These guys, and the guys that were older than me, the seniors, I mean, these were guys that put in a lot of work over a lot of years. I mean, he's no longer with us, but Al Badgett, that guy was 100%. He loved the Shrine. He loved his clowns. I mean, everything he did was for that organization. And he was old. He was tired. I mean, so to get younger blood and more guys back interested into it. And I mean, since I've been with the Clowns, I've gotten Bill active. I made Bill go to Seattle and compete in clown competitions. I mean, and we've done a lot in the last, 10 years or so. And I mean, and we're not done yet. We're still moving. We're still building. We got some more plans coming up. So.
Absolutely. And one of those plans is this Christmas party. Tell me when and where I can attend this.
So it'll be this Saturday, December 3rd. We're going to have it, and we'll open the doors at 9 a.m. and we'll run it till at least 2. If we still have kids waiting to see Santa, we're going to run it past 2.
Absolutely.
But typically by about 2 o'clock, it kind of peters out. And like I say, we're going to provide the hot dogs and chips, and then the toys, stockings, all that, as long as supplies last. I mean, we're pretty well stocked up, but you never know. It might just be crazy. So, and it'll be at the Caliph Temple, 145 West Loucks Street. It's pretty hard to miss. And actually, I got to go down today and probably put the banner out.
Joe, Bill, thank you both so much for coming in. I hope this Christmas party is busy. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
All right, you've been listening to Public Pulse on 930 KROE and 103.9 FM. Share
Wish you could smell this ad deal. Because if you could, you'd be smelling McDonald's fries right now. And they smell like McDonald's fries.
Enjoy one of our $3.50 bundles, like 6-piece chicken McNuggets, hot and spicy McChicken, or a McDouble. Each